1:34. I'd like to go ahead and call this meeting to order. We're missing Mike, Roland, and Kendall. Do we have any public forum? All right, we'll go ahead and move along to the next item on the agenda. We'll consider approving the minutes from our last meeting on August 17th. Have you guys had a chance to look at those minutes?
Move to approve.
Approved.
I'll second.
Second. You others in favor?
Aye.
All right. We'll go ahead and approve those. Next item is discussion on the financial performance.
Good afternoon. If you recall, we spent quite a bit of time back in 2015 doing a rate study, and ultimately you made a recommendation to the council that we adopt a 5-year rate plan that included meeting the financial sufficiency of the utility, it's sustaining the utility over a period of time, including additional water supplies for the future, and then investing back into the infrastructure for replacement and rehabilitation. The council adopted that 5-year plan and went into effect January of this year with the first of 5 years of increases to meet these needs. What we would like to do today is have Tina, the city's finance director, come up and just kind of go over real quickly with you how the financials are performing as a result of the rate increase, and then what we're planning to do to go forward.
Okay, there we go. Good afternoon, Board. Tina Deersky, Director of Finance for the city. I'm just going to give you a brief overview of the year-end financials for the water and sewer funds. It's important to note that these figures are not yet audited, and so there's likely going to be some changes after our year-end audit. You can see here that the fund started out with a beginning fund balance of $614,000, and we ended the year at just over $1.5 million. There was some growth there, as was intended by the rate plan. However, the fund balance that was intended by the rate plan was actually just over $2 million, so we still are a little short of where we wanted to be by about $530,000. And moving on to the sewer fund. Go ahead. Sure. What?
Just that the difference in that are you going to go over kind of?
What's your question?
Yeah, just that what the shortfall came from again. What was, or where they anticipated?
Our demand this year has been off because of the rain, and so that's almost the full accounting for why that was short.
Okay.
We'll talk a little bit more about that.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
Okay, so for the wastewater fund, the beginning fund balance there was $3.4 million. After carryovers that will be approved by council on December 6th, we project the fund balance to be just over $3.3 million. Carryovers are amounts that had been earmarked in a prior year for certain projects, and the directors of the different departments request carryovers so those projects can still be completed in the following year. And the fund balance for that fund is just a little higher than what we anticipated, and so we're looking good there. So if that's all I have as far as the financials are concerned, but I'll be happy to try to answer any questions you might have.
Guys have anything? Thank you.
I think the main takeaway from that is when we did the rate study and the rate model was developed, is they were projecting what our fund balance would be each year after expenditures and including additional capital projects. The The water fund you saw was about $500,000 low, but I think we would have expected that because of the rain that we've had and just looking at our usages now. The one thing about developing a plan like this over 5 years is that's what you're looking at in the 5 years. And it'd be great if we hit that exact target every year, but it's not reality. The wastewater fund, to me, at $138,000 is dead on. I mean, to be that close was a very good projection on the part of the rate consultants, and I think it proves the validity of the plan that we have. I would anticipate that if we had a succession of wet years, then we might have to relook at the water side because we wouldn't be growing at the rate that the fund balance at the rate that we need to. But we certainly think I would think that at this time it would be sufficient to just continue with the plan as was implemented. And just to kind of show you what that is, in 2016, currently the rates. This just shows you what the rates are for meter size, and you can see the relationship there of what the adopted increases are for 2017. And the volumetric rate is the same going from 2016. And those are the different rate blocks that we have for the inverted use rates there. And then the non-residential, you can see that on the right side of this. Landscape, same. You can just again, a relationship between where we raised it to in 2016 and the percentage, which is a little over 11% increase is what's in that plan. Wastewater is the same. You see the relationship for the meter size rates. And then on residential for wastewater, it's capped at 15,000, so it does not. It goes from 4 to 15,000 gallons, and you can see the increase there. On non-residential, it's 4,000 and above. There's no cap on for non-residential use in wastewater. The rate for the per 1,000 gallon is the same for those. And just to kind of show you what the bills would be for. I think we used 4,000 gallons for this average bill just to see where and this was what we had shown you last time is what for water and wastewater over the 5-year period what the average bill would be for 4,000 gallons of use. And that average, we're still using the 4,000, that average usage moves up and down a little bit, but not a lot. And so again, our recommendation, and we're not asking you unless you feel that we should do something different, but our recommendation is that we just continue with the plan as adopted and just move forward and see how it tracks in the years to come.
Sounds good. Go ahead.
Say, during the wetter year, where are we right now in usage? You said it fluctuates a little, not a lot. Do you know where we are right now?
Our winter usage right now is pretty dead on for the previous years. It was the summer usage that was lower.
I don't know offhand, Stan, what that was. Tracking it daily, we were a couple million gallons a day below what the normal usage was. So it did have some impact.
Just a comment, I've come to the realization in the short period of time we've been on this board, we've been through an extremely dry year and an extremely wet year now. Both of those significantly affect that year's revenue and fund balances. I guess the good side is, though, during the wet years, you know that you're banking up for a average year, if you can have it the next year, that you have a commodity to sell. So, you know, that portion of it is good. But I had never thought about the wet weather affecting our projections that much. I'd much rather be affected by the wet years than the dry years. It's
Absolutely. Is that all you have on that one?
That's
okay.
it.
We'll go ahead and move to see the update on the expansion of the groundwater treatment facility in Hickory.
These were all items that you have previously taken action on and made recommendations. And so I just wanted to provide just a brief update on where we are with each one of these. One was the expansion of the Hickory Groundwater Project. And you know, I'm sure that there's been some significant things taking place with that project and the purchase of the ranch. And so we are prepared to move forward with the expansion, to drill wells in the well field, to upgrade the treatment facility. And we have everything in place that at some time in the not too distant future we'll be able to move forward with that part of the project. We don't see any additional concerns or issues there moving forward with that in the future.
Question to that was, there was some talk about, have y'all gotten to the point of pricing out what the cost of that look like? There was some discussion before about whether that price might be significantly different than what had been the experience in the past.
I think the numbers that we showed you before, the estimated costs, are good numbers. We know what the other wells that we just had drilled cost. We know what the cost of constructing the treatment plant is, and so I think that, sure, are they conservative, the numbers that we threw out? Sure. I mean, there's some contingency built into that, and we would certainly hope to come under that. But I think for planning purposes, those were good numbers.
Have we gone out? Do we have RFPs for the
We have
drilling?
not put an RFP out yet, no.
When do you think that might happen?
Probably not till around the first of the year. The other piece of this that you talked about at our last meeting was how to move forward, or what to do with the needs that we have in both the wastewater treatment facility and the water treatment plant that were embedded in the direct potable reuse project that we're not moving forward with.
Question about how quickly can something go out. The purchasing department this year is especially dealing with kind of a large load of proposals and bids that need to go out. That could affect the timing of this too.
So it could be later than January 1st.
Yes. Just so I want to manage the expectation.
And I would have to say, first of the year to me is not January 1st. So I think
Year to
I
me
think
is September 1st. So
yeah. Well, I think if I'm within the first quarter, I did it at the first of the year. So okay. The improvements needed to the wastewater treatment plant and to the water treatment plant, as well as what can we do, how can we use our wastewater effluent to augment our surface water supplies. We have prepared the scope, and hopefully we will be, before the first of the year, we will be out with an RFP on that to hire someone to do that preliminary engineering for us. So those are moving forward. I think we made some good progress on them, and we'll continue to do that.
Was there going to be a parallel activity from permitting standpoint that started, or do you have to get some of this preliminary engineering in before that even gets started?
Actually, Stan, there will be. You're right. There's two things there, and one is a permit for discharging into the river, and the other one is a bed and banks permit, if necessary or possible, to be able to pull that water out downstream somewhere. Both of those are lengthy processes. The bed and banks is a longer process. Both of them do require a certain amount of engineering, and some preliminary engineering would need to be done for the plant to determine what the effluent discharge would be, but there can be parallel work done there to get that process started, and we would anticipate that.
Thank you, Bill. Anything else? Any other questions?
just a couple of comments. I'm kind of surprised that we're going to buy a $43 million ranch and we don't have any public comment here. That's the surprising. In talking with Bill previously in some of the discussions, I think that it's a very wise move that the city took to secure the water rights. And I know from a legal standpoint, from attorney-client privilege, that they probably can't disclose a whole lot until all this is done. But in reading some of the contracts that are public record, that it's very obvious that there could be some significant water rights issues. And so I applaud you guys. You did a good job.
Very good. Anyone else? Thanks, Bill. I guess we need to talk about future agenda items. Do you have any, you guys have anything you want to add for our next meeting?
What do
Talk
we,
about?
do we have, I guess we're obligated, so to speak, to meet quarterly, but is, do you anticipate needing to bump that to greater frequency as we've done in the past, or not so much with pending activity?
I think it would be dependent on what the issues that we need to talk about. We did talk to Mike about having the next meeting in January. And that would just most likely, there might be some substantial items, but most likely it would just be another update on where we are with the projects that we're working on.
Sounds good. So I guess we're finished here.
All I have.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
All right. All right. Thank you, guys.